But so this award then is acknowledging the teaching of my parents and the teachings of my faith community, which have influenced my work at home, at play, in the community, and in the office. So into all of that comes this diagnosis of an illness back about 5 years ago now. It has a nice long title, which I'm hoping will become easy for everyone to say: corticobasal ganglionic degeneration. Repeat after me. No. Corticobasal ganglionic degeneration. It's a Parkinson's-like condition, but it's not Parkinson's. It's sometimes referred to as Parkinson's plus, but because it's Parkinson's with a whole bunch of other things that go around it. It has slowly emerged over a number of years. Simply stated, the neurons in my brain, if they were little light bulbs, are being turned off. And they're being turned off in a variety of ways. I'm fascinated by the fact that my right arm is not trembling today for you guys. That's how comfortable I am with you guys, I guess. But my right arm is generally quite active and intrusive. The aspect which I will admit scares me the most is that my speech is being compromised. Again, thank the Lord, I'm speaking today without issue with my speech, but I do have occasions where I'm talking to people and I lose the ability to say anything for up to 5 minutes. And other times when it's as if someone took my vocabulary and grabbed 100 words out of my vocabulary at random and said, now use those. And so it's profoundly frustrating when that happens. It's an evolving thing which can be intrusive on some days, and others it's simply an irritant. And I decided to go public with it because I noticed in my interaction with people that when I was exhibiting symptoms, they were uncomfortable. So I felt it best to tell the world rather than practice all this health secrecy and such, and tell the world because that would hopefully make us more comfortable talking. And so I get a lot of people now that carry my meal tray. It's nice. I get treated really nicely. So it eventually got to the point that I had to admit that I couldn't do my job effectively at the Greater Halifax Partnership. In working with the mayor's office and so on, it was just too much. So I very reluctantly decided to move away. Very thankfully, the new incumbent, the gentleman that succeeded me, is welcoming me doing things around the periphery nevertheless, so I have a sort of an honorary role. I still meet interesting people such as students. I still work with people in mid-career. I still am meeting with companies, but in a limited way. And from this sort of retired seat, I continue to contribute on the United Way board. I've just been asked to join Engage Nova Scotia. If you know that, it's all about attitude, and attitude is one of the biggest issues we have as a province, is a can-do and positive attitude. I'm on the Nova Scotia Liquor Corporation, and you might say, well, how does that have anything to do with what you've been saying? Well, I chair the Corporate Social Responsibility Committee. I enjoy alcohol too, but I want to see it managed, its consumption managed in a regulated, careful way. You know, we had the tragedy of a student passing away at Dalhousie University just recently. And so within the Liquor Corporation Act, there's a lot of energy placed in social responsibility, and I chair the standing committee of the board to do that, and that is meaningful work. Symphony Foundation, I'm a trustee, and as I said, I still meet young professionals, meet mid-career professionals, and meet immigrants. The illness continues to evolve, and I work every day to keep the right attitude, to conserve my energy for the right things, because it's limited. And my faith is always helpful, and I feel the Holy Spirit is constantly with me. And I'm confident that regardless of the amount of time I've left before I die, and this condition will shorten my life, I was told I had between 4 and 10 years to live when I was diagnosed 4 years ago. My neurologist is now saying that it's going to be quite a bit longer than that. And he said, you are lucky enough to be a statistical anomaly. So I said, okay, I'll be a statistical anomaly. But in the time I have left before I die, that I expect that life will continue to be fulfilling, and hope that throughout I'm able to continue my community work, which I personally find so meaningful and satisfying. So I'll wrap up. I'm deeply humbled by the award. On the night when I was given the podium to speak, I felt awkward, because you're being asked to speak about something which is just my nature. There have been many times of recognition in my life, in my career. Job promotions have happened a lot. You know, I was voted the top 50 CEO a couple of times. And these are meaningful, and I value each one. But the Red Cross Award is different. You see, because it speaks in a favorable way to how I work, how I interact with others. It affirms and recognizes the core principles that drive my very being. This is very, very special, and therefore I'm supremely thankful for it. I owe a big thank you to my wife, our family, our friends, our church friends, the community as a whole, for supporting me for 40 plus years, and in many ways for sharing my values and beliefs. And I'm very happy to find an organization like the Red Cross that shares my belief that we really need to be intentional about protecting the dignity of every human being. And, you know, as you heard, I was taught and raised to make a difference, to impact the world, to practice good stewardship, by sharing an intentional portion of my time, talent, and treasure. And I was taught that we should love our neighbors as ourselves and to respect the dignity of every human being. See, I come back to that over and over again. And I've found in my actions much to be thankful for, and pray I will continue to honor these core principles of my Christian identity. And now, you know, as I conclude my remarks, I pray that this morning has had an impact on everyone in this room. And as we enter the season of Christmas, which is all about giving, that each of you will just find a way to give just that little bit more. And I'm going to conclude with a quotation I used on the night of the award, which comes from a man who's quoted a lot, Winston Churchill. And he said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." I thank you for your time and your support.